Hi guys, here's a quick tutorial of what the setup procedure is for your FT, your FuelTech ECUs. Whether it be a 450, 500, 550, 550 Lite or 600, the process is all the same. So you install the software on your laptop. That's my recommendation. You can do it through the screen on the FuelTech. I would advise you do it on a laptop. It is much easier. So once you've installed the software and clicked on it to activate it, click on New Map. Here you decide which ECU you've got, whether it be 450 or 550 or 600. And then here's what you decide what options you want to run. So we're going to run an anode for the wideband control. We've got line lock control, we don't need any of that. We've got the fan control in there, we're not running aircon. We're going to have wastegate control, an RPM activated switch. I think that'll do us for this one, and then we move on. And now it's a 4-cylinder engine we're running, and that's our firing order. But you can still click the V8 and you can see the firing order for most of the common configurations. So we go back to 4-cylinder. We're going to run a max of, well, we won't go to 30 pounds of boost on this engine, but 8,000 revs all sounds about right. Then we move on. Now we are running a magnetic sensor, but if you're running a Hall effect, you just click on that and it alters the wiring accordingly. And we're rising edge, and then we're going to run a magnetic on the cam sensor, and that's a rising edge again. We're on a 36-1 trigger wheel, and I know the reference is about 90 to get us going. Everything else looks okay, and then we move on. We're going to run sequential coil packs on this, that's the right setting for that. That really doesn't have to be changed for most combinations. And then we move on. Here we're going to go sequential, and here to tell it how many, to work out the base map, you have to tell it the total flow of your injectors. So if you've got an 8-cylinder and you're on 60 pound an hour, it's, just work it, times it and work out the configuration. Now we've got 4 60 pound an hour injectors, and so that's our total fuel flow. That will enable it to work out the total fuel flow and build you a base map, which is going to be really close to, and it should start up without a problem. So we click next. Now we're going to run TPS. We're not running electric throttle on this. We're going to run a TPS, and then we're going to run an idle control. And I know the frequency of the idle control is 200. It's a low compression engine. We're not running alcohol. Relatively low profile camshaft, and then we hit generate. Do we want to see the wiring down? Yes, we do. So there's a wiring diagram for what we've highlighted with the optional extras, and if you want to add to this, you go down to inputs, and you can add more onto the white wires. So it really makes it, you just highlight any one of those or what you input, and it'll update the wiring diagram automatically. Same on the outputs. You can operate the injectors with the ECU activated, with the ignition turned on. After you finish your wiring, you can actually, if you click on these buttons, it will operate the injectors, operate the ignition, run the electric fan, run the fuel pump. ECU needs to be turned on, but the engine doesn't need to be running. One last thing to consider whilst we're at this stage is the dwell. You don't want to damage your coil packs, so make sure whichever manufacturer of coil packs you're running, that the dwell is right. We're running Honda coil packs, and there's some dwell I did earlier, which is pretty close. Right, next thing is, you'll notice that the tables for the ignition and the main fuel table, they're just a single 2D deal, if I can speak. Way to change these is go down to map. That's it, advanced map options. Click on full table. No, click on table for that, and click on table for that. Now when you go back, it'll automatically change them, and you'll go back up and you'll say, oh, now you've got a full table. So the next thing to do now you've finished all this is you can go back and print your wiring diagram off. You save this, So when you now connect to your ECU, don't have any plugs in the back of the ECU, just have the USB lead into it, and go through the process of connecting it and press right. And that means then when you now turn your ignition on and you do go to try and start it, you won't do any damage because you'll be following the wire diagram which the ECU is expecting to work. And I think that covers this simple tutorial. Until next time, thank you very much.